Hey guys, welcome to video lectures of Java programming codes. So in this particular CDT, we are going to talk about multi-threading in Java. So this is the outline of my video. So I'll talk with lecture outcome, and then I'll talk about multi-threading in Java. Then we'll see some reflections part, then lecture level practice problems. So the very first thing is the outcome of this particular topic. After completion of this particular video, you will be able to implement multi-threaded programs while developing your Java-based applications. First of all, what do you mean by multi-threading? So the Java programming allows us to create a program that contains one or more parts that can run simultaneously at the same time. So this kind of program, we'll call it as a multi-threading program. For example, uh, you take a document. In that particular document, you just after completing the document, you just give the print. So while printing is going on, you can edit that particular document. Means within the single document, you are doing multiple things. So that is possible in Java. That type of programs we'll call it as a multi-threading program. So with this multi-threading, we'll have one more topic that is multitasking. So what do you mean by multitasking means simultaneously, if you do both works, then that will call it as a multitasking. So now whatever the operating systems we are using, all those operating systems will support the multitasking concept. So and each part of this particular program is known as a thread. So every thread defines a separate path of execution in Java, depends upon the processor, fee of the processor. So whenever you're talking about a thread, we can explain the particular thread in different ways. So these are the two definitions of thread. Thread is a lightweight process, or we can also say it's a subpart of a process that can run individually, or we can also call it as an individual part of a program. We'll call it as a thread. So here we are talking about process. Process is nothing but it is a program. It contains multiple threads. We have two types of multi-threading types. Multi-threading that is process-based as well as thread-based. So this is the difference between process-based and thread-based. So in the process-based, it allows the computer to run two or more programs concurrently. And in the thread-based, it allows the computer to run two or more threads concurrently. Okay, so within the same program, and this is two different programs. So in this process, it is the smallest unit, and in this thread, it is the smallest thread is the smallest unit. So the process is the larger unit. It contains multiple threads, but here thread is a part of process. So process is a heavyweight and thread is a lightweight. So it is required separate address space for each. So it will share the address space. And here process never gain access over idle time to the time of CPU. So thread also gain the access over idle time of CPU. So inter-process communication is expensive. Inter-thread communication is not expensive. Okay, so these are the difference between process-based multitasking and thread-based multitasking. So if you see each and every thread, it will execute in a specific way. That execution part, we'll call it as a thread life cycle. Okay, so initially the thread goes in a different state. So initially it is in new state. So when the thread will be in new state means once we create an object for a thread class. So the thread class is a predefined class in Java. Whenever you are creating the thread, you have to extend the features of the predefined thread class. So for that particular class, if you create an object, the thread is going to be in new state. So when you call this particular start method, the start method is also an inbuilt method. So if you call that particular start method, the thread will changes to new state to runnable state. And after runnable state, when you call the run method, it is in running state. While running, if any exception occur, it is going to be go in block state. Again, it will come runnable state. And this process will be continuous until unless the thread is going to be execute successfully. So meanwhile, we have this sleep method, wait method, suspend method, join method, time completed, notify method, resume method, all these things we are going to be used to execute a thread successfully. So after successful executing of thread, it is going to be uh, change the state into dead state. Okay, so this is about thread life cycle. So now we'll talk about new state. So this state we can also call it as a bound state. So runnable state, it will call the start method. Already we discussed start method. Running state, it calls a run method, and thread is so to be running. So automatically the run method is going to be called automatically by the start method separately. No need of calling separately. So when an exception occurs or anything due to block of any reasons, so then it is going to be, we are going to be use sleep method or wait method or join method like that, etc. And with the help of when the thread is blocked or waiting state is over, then it is going to be with the help of this notify method, notify all method, resume method, we are going to be informed to the end user. So these are the few examples we can use this one. And the last one is it is going to be terminated state, then automatically the stop method is going to be called. So now we'll see how to create the thread. So in Java, in order to create a thread, we have two ways we can create the thread. The very first one is using thread class. And one more thing is using runnable interface. Okay, so whenever you are using thread class, you have to use the keyword called extends. Whenever you are using interface, we are going to be use the keyword called implements. So this is if you want to create a thread by using thread class. So these are the steps you have to follow initially. So you have to create a class as a thread class, means you have to create a class and extend the thread class, and you have to override the run method within the code. And then this run method should be public. Why? Because we are calling this particular method from another classes. So that is why it should be public. Then we have to create the object for newly created class in the main method. Then automatically you have to call the start method on the object created in the above step. So these are the steps you are going to be used to create a thread by using thread class. So here I gave an example. So see here, this is the new class we are creating, sample thread extends thread. And this is the predefined class. We are extending the features, though this is whatever the class we have, this we are creating. So this is the class we are creating, right? So then the run method, it's a predefined method. We are overriding this method. This particular method already it is there in thread class. So that is why we are overriding this one. So overriding means already in the super class, the run method is there. In the subclass also, we are using the same method. So that is why we'll call this as an override method. Then in the main class, within the main method, we are creating object for this sample thread. Then with the help of this particular object, you are calling the start method. So this is the way we are going to be executed. We are going to create a thread. Next, so in the same way, if you want to create the thread by using this runnable interface, we have 5 steps for this also. So the very first one, we have to create a class and you have to implement runnable interface. Then you have to override the run method. Then you have to create the object. And till 3 steps are same if you are using thread class or runnable interface. So in the very fourth step, what you have to do is you have to create the thread class object by passing the above created object as a parameter to the thread class constructor. So this is the extra step you have to do when you are creating a thread by using this runnable interface. And the step 5, automatically you have to call the start method to on the thread class object to created all these steps. Okay, so this is the only extra method if you are using this runnable interface. And this is the example. So here also I'm creating a same sample thread. Here it is a different. Why? Because runnable is an interface. We have to use the keyword called implements. We have to use the keyword called implements. Again, we are overriding the run method. So within the another class, I'm creating a main method. So within the main method, I'm creating the object for this particular class. After creating object, and this particular object I'm passing as a parameter to the thread class, parameter to the thread class. Then obviously I'm going to call the start method. The thread is going to be start. Next, we'll see some more things in the thread topic. So the thread class in Java is a subclass of object class, and it implements a runnable interface. So the thread class is available inside what package? Java.lang package. So this is the syntax: class thread extends object implements runnable. And this is the way we are going to be create the thread. And these are the constructors: thread, and thread with one parameter, and thread with runnable interface, and thread with both runnable as well as string. So, and these are the few methods: stop, destroy, suspend, and resume. So these methods we are going to be you have in the thread class, but these methods have deprecated. No one is using this particular classes now. Already built-in classes will be there. With the help of those built-in classes only, you are going to be use this. And these are the thread class methods: run, start, set name, set priority, get ID, active count, current thread, sleep, is alive, yield, join. All these methods available in the thread class, and this is the description, and this is the return value of this particular methods. You just go through once. If you are having in the class, we are going to be discussing in detail. So this is a lecture level problem. You just write a Java program to implement thread by using thread class as well as runnable interface. So further, you just go through this complete reference textbook. Thank you.